Hey guys, my name is Matimo, and welcome to another episode of Sunday Mailbox. This is a video series where you, the viewer, can submit your gaming or Battlefield-related questions, and then I will give my humble opinion on them. To get the formats out of the way real quick, if you would like to submit your own question that could be featured in an upcoming episode, you can do so by leaving a comment down below, or by sending me a Facebook and Twitter message. The first question for today comes from Smith, and it is, what are your thoughts on the new Deus Ex pre-order bonus? Well, personally, I'm pretty disgusted by the way that they're handling things, and it's to the point now where I'm crossing my fingers and hoping that it backfires right in their face so that this doesn't become the precedent and this does not become a thing that developers and publishers try to push up onto their customers. And so if you're not aware of what Deus Ex is trying to do here, basically if you pre-order the game right now, you unlock their tier 1 upgrades. You get to choose between 3 different skins. If you're lucky enough to get to tier 2, then you get to choose between a soundtrack and an audiobook. Tier 3 is a new mission, all the way up until Tier 5, where you get to unlock the game 4 days earlier. This all sounds reasonable, this sounds kind of like what you would expect, but the thing is, though, is that you can't unlock Tier 2, 3, 4, or 5 all by yourself. The only way to get to those higher tiers is if more people pre-order the game. Essentially what they're trying to do here is to manipulate, really manipulate their customers to feel obligated to go tell their friends, hey, you should go pre-order Deus Ex Mankind Divided, because then we'll get all, first of all these cool goodies, but we'll also be able to play the game 4 days early. If the game is ready 4 days early, then why isn't it releasing for everyone at that time? Like, if it's ready, it's ready. It should be sold to the masses. Like, oh God, if you can't tell, I'm a little upset by this because it just feels wrong. It's a manipulation of your customers. You're basically trying to make them your salesman at this point, even though there isn't any reviews, we don't know anything about it. It could be a steamy pile of crap. It could be buggy. I'm hoping that's not the case because I loved the last game. I love this franchise. It's phenomenal, but just the way that they've gone about their pre-order is just disgusting for me. I think I'm just getting fed up at this point on pre-orders in general. Over this last couple of years, it has gotten ridiculous over the entire game industry. Battlefield Hardline is a prime example of this. They don't go nearly as far as Deus Ex in manipulating their customers to go out and sell their game for them, but they still took away content for people that didn't want to risk pre-ordering when they didn't know if the game was any good or not. If you decided to wait for a day 1 purchase and not pre-order, you waited for a review, then you did not have access to 3 to 4 weapons. Didn't matter how many kills you got in game, it didn't matter how many crazy things you tried to do to unlock these things, they just weren't available whatsoever. For as much as I liked Battlefield Hardline, there wasn't a lot of weapons to choose from, and the fact that they took away even more from that weapon pool seems stupid in the long term for the longevity of the game. Weapons are your content in a first-person shooter. That's your variety. That's what makes the game interesting, and to take that away day 1 for all the people that didn't decide to put their money down before there was reviews just does not seem like a good thing for the game in general. It may have actually hurt the longevity of Battlefield Hardline. It's kind of hard to say at this point. Not only that, but it's just flat out manipulative. People, when they see weapons as a pre-order bonus, EA, DICE, everyone knows this. Every publisher knows this. They're going to be more likely to pick it up because those gamers don't want to be at a disadvantage when they do step onto the battlefield. If you don't have access to a gun, at the back of your brain, you're always going to have that nagging feeling that that person won that firefight because of this weapon that they had access to and you don't. They know this, and this is the reason why they put that into their game. And so it's this type of manipulation that we've seen across the game industry lately, and really Deus Ex is just the worst offender of it, and the reason why I want their pre-order campaign to fail miserably. I don't want Deus Ex to fail. The game looks like it's gonna be a lot of fun. I love the last one. I'm thinking this one's gonna be phenomenal as well, but I just don't want this to become the precedent. If every video game adopts this new style of pre-order bonus where you have to get your friends to pre-order and it gives you this incentive to go out and sell the game for everyone so that you can unlock the game 4 days early, that's gonna be a terrible day. I hope it never happens. I hope this has not become the precedent. And so I know this was a little bit long-winded, but to answer your question, I am pretty upset by the way that they are handling their pre-order. The next question comes from Jeff, and it is, what do you think about Battlefield 4 having a system that gives squad mates more points when they capture/defend objectives when they are in close proximity to each other? Squads will probably work together and stay close to each other more often because they get more points. This is a really good suggestion, Jeff, and I'm really hoping that DICE relooks at the teamwork initiative. Remember the teamwork initiative many months ago? I think it's been like a half a year at this point, where DICE was gonna go through and try to get people to work together in Battlefield 4. Well, it never happened. There were a few things that DICE has done over this last couple of months, but the majority of the things that they were kind of promising and hinting at, they never were able to accomplish on the CTE. They gave a couple excuses, like the initiatives, like the teamwork initiative was too broad in scope, they were too large, and they would rather focus on small things and do more of a checklist, but I still would wish if they would go through and try to facilitate more teamwork. I realize that it's not a simple solution. Your idea is a solid recommendation. I know that some people have talked about just having a better scoreboard. I think I've talked about this in past Sunday mailboxes, where it gives you an idea of who gave the most revives, who put down the most ammo boxes, and not just focused on kills and deaths and score. That would be another way of going about it. Just incentivizing and getting people to go on objectives, defend or attack, just seems the right way of handling things, especially in a game that's all about teamwork. I realize at the end of the day, you're still gonna have those players only going for kills. That's what they enjoy in Battlefield. They don't care about the points. They just want to go on as crazy of a kill streak as they can. They want to get that headshot across the map, and no amount of points is going to deter them from the gameplay that they're trying to achieve. But for the vast majority of the people, adding in small incentives like this could be a huge step in the right direction. And so I'm crossing my fingers, which I'm sure a lot of you guys are as well, that DICE will relook at the teamwork initiative. I think that it would be a good thing for Battlefield 4, and I really like this suggestion. The next one comes from Henry, and it is, what do you think about a stealth camo that would counter the Iron V and FLIR now that the night map is out and everyone is using thermal scopes? I got a surprising amount of people with this same recommendation this last week. Like, it was overwhelming how many people like the idea of having a camo in the game that does counter the Iron V and the FLIR. And while it does sound reasonable on paper, have another counter in there would be quite nice, then this camo would all of a sudden be the only camo that people are running. If it doesn't have any drawbacks, it doesn't have any negative attribute associated with it, and it just reduces and gets rid of the Iron V and the FLIR, then why would you use any other camo out there? This was actually how it worked back in Battlefield 3. If you guys remember, there was that black camo that kept you off of the Iron V site. You were still there, but you didn't stick out like a sore thumb like everyone else. Everyone used the black camo at that point because it had this awesome attribute associated with it. And so if they did decide to add something like this into Battlefield 4, it would be a gigantic nerf to the Iron V and the FLIR. Since everyone is incentivized to use this camo, unless it's like bright neon, which I don't think they would ever do, but it has this great benefit, everyone's using it, and so as soon as you do decide to use one of these two scopes, no one's gonna show up. It's basically going to be a terrible version of every other scope in the game. There is gonna be no reason to use these things on the battlefield. Not only that, but you also have to remember that the Iron V stands for infrared night vision scope. This is exactly what it's designed for. Of course people are going to be using this on the new night map. You would be crazy not to use it on the night map. Like, that is what it's designed for 100%. And so while I understand that it can be very frustrating if someone is using the FLIR and the smoke combo, not being able to see where you're getting shot at, seeing bullets fly out of a smoke cloud and not being able to retaliate is annoying. That said though, I don't think that this is the way to handle it, because in the long run, it would just nerf these two scopes into oblivion. I like the way that they're handling it right now on the CTE, making that they can't pierce through the smoke, but at the same time, it still makes them viable when the smoke isn't involved. Like, if you see someone in a dark corner or someone's hiding in a bush, they're gonna stick out like a sore thumb when you are using the Iron V and the FLIR, and that should stay the same. And so, while I can see where your frustration lies, I just don't think that this is the right step to take. That's just my 2 cents though. But yeah guys, that is about it for today's Sunday Mailbox. I hope you enjoyed. As always, if you would like to submit your own question that could be featured in an upcoming episode, you can do so by leaving a comment down below or by sending me a Facebook and Twitter message. But until tomorrow guys, have a good one and take it easy.